And in general, they tend to be a little more abstract, not as many pictorial effects. Schubert was the one who used the most pictorial effects. Like Schubert, he incorporates German folk elements. That made them really popular with the middle class. And very often the form is delineated by a harmonic plan. So in that sense, it's like an instrumental organization rather than being just strophic, which everything's in the same key. So, we'll see one other characteristic that I mentioned with the concerto, the B-flat concerto, is this emphasis on outer voices. So the two songs that we're going to do are May Night, so Weihnacht, and the other is Love Unending, or Forever Love. Let's see, translated that way too. So, so both of these songs by Brahms are from 1868. The minor poet, LT. This text is just a kind of rather sentimental expression of frustration of not being able to find, the poet can't find his soulmate. And so there are a lot of romantic images. So it takes place at night, the favorite time for romantics, a lot of nature images, and it's one that's very, very emotional. So here's how the text translates. When the silvery moon beams through the shrubs, and over the lawn scatters its slumbering light, and the nightingale sings, I walk sadly through the woods. So that's the first section. This is going to modulate with that first four lines from F sharp major to F sharp minor. So you'll see at the top of page 88 that cadences in F sharp minor. And that underscores this walking sadly through the woods. So it begins with a little more, a brighter kind of quality. That's the A section. Overall, this is a ternary form. And then the key signature changes to 2 sharps. And the text then goes, shrouded by foliage, a pair of doves coo their delight to me. But I turn away, seeking darker shadows, and a lonely tear flows. So, again, the birds are trying to cheer him up, and, or they're, I don't know if they're specifically trying to cheer him up, but you hear this cheerful, love expression of the birds. But he's not going to be affected by that because he's so upset, and so he turns away, seeking darker shadows. And then a lonely tear flows. And so that is what happens at the top of page 89. And by this point, it has returned to F sharp major. So that's the B section. And on page 89, third system, then the opening melody returns, and now the accompaniment is animated, so now you have triplets in the right hand of the piano, and you have some kind of offbeat elements with the notes that are beamed in triplets, and so we've got this kind of romantic kind of complexity there with the rhythm. And this leads to the climax of the song, which is on the last page. And the text goes, this is then basically, what's bugging the poet. When, O smiling image, like dawn, shines upon my soul, when shall I find it on earth? So he's just stating this question, when am I ever going to find my soulmate? And the lonely tear flows, trembling, burning down my cheek. So this is a real kind of, overly emotional text. But it's very beautiful, the way that Brahms sets it, and it's a very popular one. So, you never come out ahead if you criticize somebody like Brahms. You'll read, some musicologists that they will criticize sometimes the quality of poetry that was set. It wasn't maybe as high standards as what Wolf would use or Schubert. But these are very, very important works. And so the second one that we're doing is an example of a ballad. And so what was the other ballad that we did? And what is a ballad? What a ballad has to do with? What is a ballad?
The use of a narrator to tell a story.
Yes. So another more minor poet, and ballad involves a narrator usually and tells a story. And so that's what we're going to see in this. This is a type of modified strophic in that you have three sections. The first section is the narrator, the second section is the young man, the third section is the young lady. And so the basic scene is the couple are walking at night in the fields, and he's really agitated and has these thoughts on his mind. And basically, what he says is, if you're ashamed of our love, it'll be done as quickly as it came together. And so he's expressing these doubts. And the opening of the song, where the narrator sets the scene, and then the young man then makes the statement, are in C sharp minor. And then the final section then is the young lady who then says, no, our love is forever. And it's stronger than steel, because you can forge over steel, but who can change our love? Our love is unchangeable. And so it has shifted D flat major, it changes meter, and each of these sections has two strophes. So it kind of goes like, A, B, B, C, C. So this is C sharp minor, D flat major. So definitely the shift to the major mode goes along with the text of her affirming their love. And so we'll put here a modified strophic. Although it's something that does reflect just the basic mood of the text with using minor versus major mode. So here's how this goes. So this is the narrator speaking. And what you're going to hear in the piano prelude is the opening theme that the singer will sing. This melody sounds in the bass. So again, that just is, you know, an important element is the left-hand part of the piano. And the text goes, dark, how dark it is in the forest and field. Night has fallen, the world now is silent. Nowhere a light and nowhere smoke. Yes, and the lark is now silent too. And so that's this first strophe. And then the second strophe is, from the village yonder there comes the young lad, taking his beloved home. He leads her past the willow bushes, talking much and of many things. And so that was the second strophe. And then the young man speaks and gets more agitated in the melody. So let me copy this. We'll pass those others across. So the second strophe, where then it's setting up that this night too, this, the young couple then are walking home, and that ends on page 164. Then at the top of 165, where you see then the quotation marks, that's where the young man speaks, and you see then the piano part moves to triplets, and it just has a greater sense of agitation. When he asks her, if you suffer shame and if you grieve, if you suffer disgrace before others because of me, then our love shall be ended ever so fast. And then it goes on to say, as fast as we once came together, it shall go with the rain and go with the wind, as fast as we once came together. And that is the next two strophes. And that leads to this kind of outburst in the piano at the bottom of page 166. And then you have some 2 against 3 rhythms there. You have a hemiola at the top of page 167, that typical Brahms rhythmic characteristic. There's a big diminuendo. And then you have tempo change, so it's a little bit slower. Changes to 6/8, and then it changes to D flat major. This is where then she is going to speak. And so this section starts out, then says the maiden, our love can never end. Firm is the steel and the iron is firm, yet our love is firmer still. And that is the first section. And then you look at the third system of page 168, and this is the